a situation like this, sometimes you'll talk to the catcher and ask him if he thinks the pitcher still has his stuff. And, of course, you talk about all the alternatives that can transpire with runners at first and second and no one out. What happens if the Texans bunt? Who's going to cover what base? Where will the throws go to? Home plate umpire out there, and that's going to be all for Moore. Clint Davis is going to come on to pitch. At least I say he is. He's at the mound right now. The umpire was writing something in the lineup which would indicate that there would be a change. And there will be. Moore is finished. And Clint Davis comes on. Davis is the outstanding pitcher on this staff. And Carl Childers felt that he'd take a gamble and try and start Moore and see if he could go just as long as possible before bringing Davis in. Well, Moore pitched 2 innings plus. He's given up 2 hits here in the third. Davis comes in now in a very unenviable position. His team's down by 2 runs. There are runners at first and second, no one out in the third inning. Not the easiest way to come into a ballgame. So Davis will get those few warm-ups. We're going to have a change now because Davis was playing first base, so we'll have to have someone come in and play at first. And that, I do believe, is going to be Moore. So you're just going to see a switch here where the pitcher becomes the first baseman and the first baseman alternates with the pitcher and comes in and starts towing the rubber. Davis will take his warm-ups from a stretching position simply because that's the way he's going to be pitching once that batter gets in there. Davis faced the Texans in the first game of this series. He went the distance, pitched 7 innings, gave up just 5 hits, 1 run, which was earned. He walked 1. He struck out 8. His walk to strikeout ratio is really outstanding. And it's one thing that baseball people look at to see how effective a pitcher may be. Generally speaking, most of your pitchers are going to have about 1 walk to every 1.5 strikeouts. But Davis has 1 walk for every 1 batter he's walked. He struck out about 5.5. That is an exceptionally good ratio. And of course, in that first game of the series, which was played right here, he walked 1 and struck out 8. So Davis comes in a real pressure situation. Clint Davis, a senior, realizing that if things don't change, this is going to be his final game as a MacArthur baseball player. The Cardinals down by 2. A lot of pressure on Clint right now. Phil Verricchio is the batter. There's Phil. Now we go back to the strategy. Do you have him bunt, advancing the runners? Do you have him swinging away? Shortens up the bunt and lays down a beauty. Davis up with it, flips it to the first baseman. Verricchio is out, but the runners advance, and that was a beautifully placed bunt. Boy, if he had just placed one with his hand, he could not have done a better job than he did with the bat. And it's fielded very well by Davis. Many times that could have been a base hit, but Davis picks it up with the glove, then flicks the throw over to first for the out. Now we're back live. Greg Edwards takes a pitch down low for a ball. Davis, a let-up breaking pitch, bounce foul, strike 1. 1-1. This is a very important man as far as Clint Davis is concerned. His task right now is to retire this man without allowing a run to score. The 1-1 pitch, swung and a miss, strike 2. Davis pitches in a very effortless manner, where you see so many youngsters at this level of competition really exerting themselves. It's just very smooth the way he throws. got him swinging on a low pitch. And Edwards very upset with himself as he walks back. He swung at a pitch that was down around the ankles. Big strikeout by Clint Davis. Now here is Tom Gentz. Of course, the importance of that out is now no run can score as a result of an out. There's no such thing as a sacrifice fly now. Here's a pop fly. Mihalik, the shortstop, waits for it and has it. So Davis comes on and really does an outstanding job. Runners at first and second, no one out. With Davis coming on, Mauricio bunts up the first baseline, advancing the runners as he bunts into a sacrifice. And then Davis strikes out Edwards swinging and gets Gentz first ball swinging to pop out to the shortstop. So a threat by the Texans in the top of the third, but no scoring, no runs, 2 hits, no miscues, no errors, 2 men left on base, and a nice shot of the sun having already departed the horizon. All types of rose-colored hues there in the sky. We have some beautiful sunsets in this part of the country. It's the Texans of Sam Houston 3, the Cardinals of Irving MacArthur 1 after 2.5 innings of play. And when we start the bottom of the third, the Cardinals will have the top of the order. The DH, Vince Kimbrough, followed by third sacker Scotty Gage, and center fielder Chris Parshall. Look at all the fans assembled here tonight. A lot of folks have come over from Arlington to cheer their team on. And we have a good representative sampling also from Irving MacArthur here. Another study of the apartment complex that is located behind the right field fence here. And look at the plane taking off from DFW. We're very fortunate to get these games in. We had a heavy rain. So heavy, in fact, that the game schedule for Arlington was postponed last night. It was to have taken place. They're going to try and play it again in Arlington today, but the field was absolutely waterlogged, so they just moved it over here. Vince Kimbrough has one of the 2 base hits for the Cardinals thus far. He beat out a single to the shortstop, opening things up in the bottom of the first inning. Chris Jones looks a little bit tired. Pitch in for a strike. This is a tough time to pick up the ball. Sunlight very weak now. And the artificial lights really don't give you that much help either. Strike 2. Jones just fired that one by the batter. Jones ahead on the count, 0-2. Throws that one away. Clunk. Kicked up some dirt here on our table, directly behind home plate. Do a little bit of gardening back here. A ball and 2 strikes on Vince Kimbrough. On the outside corner, got him looking. That's the 3rd strikeout for Jones. He had 4 strikeouts in his first encounter with the Cardinals, a losing venture, when Clint Davis outpitched him by a 4-1 count. Now here's the 3rd sacker, Scotty Gage, up high for a ball. Scotty pitched an exceptionally strong game in the first game of our doubleheader, only to lose it. He really pitched very well. Ball 2. Jones does not take much time in between pitches. He delivers, gets the ball back from the catcher, and he's ready to go in about 12 to 15 seconds. 2-0 pitch in for a strike, 2-1. Gage looking all the way. Scotty looks down at his head coach, trying to determine what the sign is. Will he be allowed to swing at this pitch if it's in? There's one that comes all the way back here to the screen again, 3-1. Three and 1 the count on Scotty Gage. The 3-1 pitch. Right down the pipe, strike 2. So Chris Jones runs the count out on Scotty Gage to 3-2. Jammed him, and Gage was able to fight it off. Stays alive. Jones has thrown a lot of pitches right down around the batter's fingertips. It's just absolutely impossible to get anything on the ball at all when it's down around your fingertips. You're lucky to foul it off. There's one lashed foul down the right field line. So Gage is being tough up there. We had a pretty good crowd behind the right field fence in the first game watching this one. It has slimmed somewhat now to just 2 sports enthusiasts wearing red T-shirts watching the game. Maybe Cardinal fans. Gage digging in for the 3-2 pitch. Hits it sharply to the second baseman who grabs it. There's 2 down. Boy, Gage really hit that baby on a line. But unfortunately to him, right to Kurt Black, the second baseman.
Center fielder, Chris Marshall.
There's Kurt Black. Now this is exactly what Kurt did. Grabbed it. Dropped it after he made the catch. While we were showing you that replay, the home plate umpire, at the urging of MacArthur head coach Carl Childers, came out and looked at the uniform of the pitcher, maybe for some sort of an illegal substance. Now Tommy Cantrell, the Sam Houston coach, not to be outdone, is talking to the umpire, and the umpire goes back and talks to Carl Childers again. So the constant game of mind studies here. You always want to rattle the pitcher. And maybe one of the ways to do it, Carl Childers possibly thinking one of the ways to do it, is to suggest that maybe he's doctoring the ball to look for something. Childers back toward the dugout. Now an assistant coach who had been coaching at first base being pulled off the first baseline. And a player will act as the first base coach, Jason Sturdy. A ground ball to the third baseman, David Jones, the throw to first, and he's got it, size retired. So Partial, first ball swinging, bounces out. And very quietly go the Cardinals in the third inning. 3 up, 3 down. After 3 innings of play, it's Sam Houston 3 and Irving MacArthur 1. Three to 1 our score. Let's see Partial again as he bounces down to the third baseman, Flint Davis. Davis, the good throw around to first. Remember, we were telling you that the home plate umpire had gone out to the pitcher. And we thought that perhaps Carl Childers had made mention of the fact that maybe there was some substance on the baseball. And the umpire was looking to see if there might be a foreign substance on the pitcher's uniform. But apparently what it was, the pitcher, Chris Jones, did not have his uniform fully buttoned. And that was pointed out by the first base coach for MacArthur. So Jones buttoned his shirt And then Tommy Cantrell, the head coach for Sam Houston, came out, noting that the first base coach wasn't even in uniform. So he was pulled off the first base line, and he will not be back coaching. He was coaching in civilian attire. Top of the fourth inning, Kurt Black, the second baseman, grounds one down to the second sacker. Darren Hedges throws to first, and there's one away. So the one second baseman retires the other. Boy, you talk about mind games, you know, telling the umpire, hey, that kid out there doesn't have his shirt buttoned, do something about it. And of course, one of the reasons, if you think they're being picky, truly, I don't know if any part of a white T-shirt was showing, but I guess you could say it's kind of tough picking up the ball when the player has a white T-shirt showing from his uniform. Pitch swung and a miss, strike one. This is David Jones, the third baseman. Pitch outside, ball one. You know, many times people will say in attacking the designated hitter rule that it takes strategy out of baseball. The 1-1 pitch to Jones, jammed him as he fouls it off, strike two, 1-2. And I'm not going to get into that argument whether it takes much strategy away or not. I guess to a certain extent it does. But there is always strategy in baseball, and I truly believe people don't come out to watch this game for the strategy. If they want strategy, they'll watch a chess match. But there is constantly in baseball a lot of manipulating going on. Jones stays alive by fouling off the fastball. Three to one, the Texans of Sam Houston in the lead here in the top of the fourth inning. One out, no one on. The 1-2 count to third sacker David Jones. Clint Davis on in relief. It was Johnny to the spot there in the third inning when he pitched out of an awfully tough jam. Overhand fastball down low, 2-2. Now Davis studies and delivers. And he got him swinging.
Shortstop, Ivan Villalobos.
Ivan Villalobos is our batter with two down and no one on here in the top of the fourth inning. Sturdily built infielder. Good-looking ball player. Fouls that breaking pitch back. Strike one. When Clint Davis is on his game, his control is uncanny. He just has tremendous presence on that mound. Villalobos checking up. Now crouches and takes one down low for a ball. A ball and a strike. The 1-1 pitch. Curveball grounded. Nice stop by Gage to throw to first. Not in time. Beats it out. Villalobos has got the good speed. Hit it wide of third. Scotty Gage did a very nice job in nabbing the ball. But by the time he was able to throw it, see, he had to take some time really to right his body to get in a throwing position. And by the time he could do that, Villalobos beat it out.
Heading next, left fielder, Wes Shank.
Here's the left fielder, Wes Shank. Goes after a pitch without any success for a strike. The wind, which had been blowing in several different directions during the first game, now is absolutely dead. One bounce just fouled on the first baseline. Tim Moore over there watching it spurt by him. There you see the apartment complex located directly behind right field. So Davis out quickly in front of Shank with the 0-2 count. A check of the runner from first. The let-up curveball is looped down in the left field. It may fall in. It does. Base hit. Shank just reached out at that slow curveball and looped it into left field for a single. Back-to-back singles with 2 outs brings up John Zimmerman. And the last time John came up, he singled sharply into center field.
Catcher, John Zimmerman.
Davis was coasting along here, had retired 5 in a row before he's been touched for these 2 base hits. Pitch grabs the black of the outside corner for a strike. Davis looking in, getting the sign from Keith Williams, his battery mate. Strike 2. Well, this is where Clint Davis was just a moment ago. He had an 0-2 count on Wes Shank, only to have Wes tap a curveball into left field. Fastball, popped foul and out of play. We're in the top of the 4th inning. The Texans of Sam Houston out in front of the Cardinals of Irving McArthur, 3-1. The Texans with runners at first and second, 2 down. A 1-2 count on the batter. Curveball way outside. That makes it 1-2. Boy, that one really got away from Davis, and a very nice defensive job by Keith Williams from preventing it to going all the way to the backstop. Fouls it back. So Zimmerman hangs tough. There's Davis. Just standing on the rubber, waiting for Zimmerman to step back in. The runners fake to go. Curveball outside. Ball 2. The runners both gave that big fake as if they were going to try and pull a double steal, taking about 5 big running strides, and then both of them stopping instantly. 2-2 to Zimmerman. And again, he hangs tough by fouling off an inside pitch. So Zimmerman proving to be quite pesky at the plate. Up high, ball 3. Now the runners definitely will be going with 2 outs. Villalobos will be exploding from second base, as will Shank from first. Davis pitching from the stretch. There go the runners. The pitch swung on and bounced to the shortstop. Fumbled by Mahalik. The quick throw to first. Got him. Oh! Mahalik's got the real good arm. He bobbled the ball, but fortunately for him, it fell in front of him. Then he quickly picked it up and really gunned it over to first base. So a quick throw by Mahalik and a nice stretch by Tim Moore, the first baseman. Watch it again. Picks it up and really guns it. And a nice stretch by Moore. He had to dig that ball out. So again, we have back-to-back base hits by the Texans, but they can't punch any runs across. In the top of the 4th inning, no runs, 2 hits, no miscues, 2 men left on base. After 3.5 innings of play, our scores: Sam Houston 3 and Irving McArthur 1. As we move to the bottom of the 4th inning, the Cardinals will have numbers 4, 5, and 6 in the order. The catcher Keith Williams and the pitcher Clint Davis and the shortstop John Mahalik. Zimmerman, who was the last out, quickly gets into the catching implements, or as they like to call it in this game, the tools of ignorance. Shin guards, chest protector, mask, glove. And even with all that, you sure see a lot of catchers hurt. It is one tough position to play. Probably, really, when you think about it, defensively, strictly defensively only, the toughest position in baseball. Excluding, we'll say, the pitcher. talking about catchers, here is the Cardinal catcher, Keith Williams. The Texans have so much respect for this guy that with runners at second and third and 1 out, they intentionally walked him back in the first inning. Williams takes the curveball for a strike. Keith got a lot of weight on that back foot. Lifts a long fly ball down the right field line. It is foul, and the right fielder can't get to it. Giving it the long run was the right fielder, but he could not quite come up to the ball, Greg Edwards. So it's just a long foul strike. That's Chris Jones. And now we show you Keith Williams. The eternal battle between the pitcher and the hitter. That one backs him away for a ball. See Jones saying no to that first signal. Let up on him and got him on strikes. That's strikeout number 4 for Chris Jones. As many as he had in the entire first game in which he pitched against the Cardinals in a losing effort when the Cardinals beat him 4-1. Davis swings and grounds one off the first baseman's glove out in the right field, base hit. Phil Verricchio leaving his feet diving, try to stop the ball. It bounced off his mitt and then caromed out in the right field. So Davis is on with a base hit. Third hit of the evening for the Cardinals. Clint Davis had 3 base hits in the first game of our doubleheader.
For the Cardinals, number 6, Willie Wilkes.
Now we're going to have a pinch runner for Clint Davis. That's Willie Wilkes down at first base. Willie is a sophomore. He served in this position in the first game of the doubleheader as a pinch runner. Sidearm pitch, low and away for a ball. Just judging Willie from the one time we saw him in that first game of the doubleheader, very cautious base runner. He's not going to run you out of everything. He's very deliberate. And just to prove how deliberate he is, he dives back ahead of the throw. John Mihalik, the batter, with a 1-0 count, looking for his first hit in this doubleheader. Again, the throw to first, and Wilkes is back. Jones has already picked off 1 runner. And believe me, Wilkes is well aware of that. He does not want to be man number 2. Boy, that was a diving save by the first baseman, Verricchio. Throw down into the dirt, and Phil Verricchio prevented it from getting by him and going all the way down the right field line. Now the pitch to Mihalik goes after one really low, swings and misses for a strike. Mihalik drills one out in the right field, a base hit. And the ball gets through, the right fielder goes all the way to the wall. Wilkes rounding third will come to the plate. He will score. Mihalik goes to third and will stop there. Well, there is a tremendous break for the Cardinals. A solid base hit by Mihalik. And the right fielder turned a single into a triple. Actually, it's a 2-base error, but watch this again. Mihalik drives it to right. On comes the right fielder and has it get right on by him. And that's a long run all the way back to the wall. Bobbles it, then picks it up, then throws it. Wilkes scores easily. Mihalik all the way around to third. So for John Mihalik, a single to right field And then he goes around to third. There's John on the error by the right fielder.